Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Recently I had a strange series of events take place in my life that brought something to my attention. And what happened was about 2.5 weeks ago, we had ants in one of our bedrooms. They wound their way through the window and then down, and they made their way along the baseboard, and then they made it up into the bed. It wasn't a comfortable feeling. And then about 2 weeks later, which was just the other day, my mother, who lives over 100 miles away, had a similar event take place in her house. Now, it's not uncommon for us to have ants this time of year. Once or twice a year in the state that I live in, we have ants called sugar ants, and they're little black ants, and they become a nuisance and a problem. Now, I was easily able to manage our ant problem here at my house, but my mother didn't have anything on hand to handle it herself. So we used regular ant baits that you can buy at Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, just about any store. But she didn't have anything, and she was in a tizzy. She's 80 years old, and she didn't know what to do. So she called me, and I was helping her through, telling her what to buy, etc. So imagine if you had what appears to be a simple issue, such as the ants in the bedroom, and you were unable to contact an exterminator for several days. I mean, my mom had to actually move out of her bedroom and sleep on her couch for 2 nights while she waited for the ant baits to take effect and she could actually contact somebody to see if she had a bigger issue. So it can get uncomfortable and put you out. Now imagine this happening during a natural disaster such as a flood or a hurricane or a blizzard. So I mentioned these several types of natural disasters because what do living things do when they get displaced from their homes? They try to find alternate shelter, right? So the ants, roaches, spiders, any kind of bugs, small rodents, if they get displaced, they're gonna go for someplace dry, warm, and that could be your house. So you wanna be prepared to some extent to handle these situations just in case something like that happens. Now, what pests you might have to deal with are going to be isolated to your region of the country, right? Or where you're at in the world. Some of the pests that you may have to deal with could be ants, mice, rats, snakes, roaches, spiders, raccoons, squirrels. I've even seen bats nest in people's garages when there was, a week or two's worth of bad weather. So you want to be prepared to at least deal with these things on a basic level. So a lot of these items that I'm going to show you that I use can be bought at any store just about. So it doesn't take a whole lot of effort as long as you have a little extra money, but I would highly recommend, buying some of these items and keeping them around your house just for these situations. So I'll go right to left here on the table, no particular order. So we have glue boards. I always keep these around. These are handy. You can either use them flat or they fold into a box. You put them along the baseboards and corners. They trap small mice, small rodents, and just about any kind of insect, spider, roaches, centipedes, water bugs, anything like that. These are good for that. What you need to do though is if you use them, make sure that you check them on a regular basis and empty them before the carcasses start to add up in there, and then you can get other issues, right? For ants, we use these ant baits. These things are magical for my area of the country. Like I said, I have to pull these out once or twice a year, especially at the beginning of winter, the end of fall, beginning of winter. The ants always make their little treks. So we put these out, and these work within a day and a half. The ants just disappear. The ants come, they eat the bait, take it back to the mound. Everybody shares in on the food party, and then it kills off the mound. There's also ant gel if you want to put it around. So these are relatively safe when it comes to pets. Just tuck them in, cabinets and stuff like that. Or if you don't have pets, put them down in the corner of your room where the traffic is the heaviest for insects. Then we have fly ribbon. Now this comes in handy, not all the time, but if you have a situation where, say after a hurricane for me, where I'm setting up my backup air conditioning and we have windows and doors open around the house to get some circulation through and some ventilation for some cooling. Flies are going to be a problem. When you're eating, you don't want them to be on your food, so you want to try to control them as much as possible. So just some simple fly ribbons, fly paper. put them up and use them under those circumstances. Wasp and hornet spray goes without saying, right? You never know when they're going to pop up, and you don't want to get close to them and knock down their home. That can get nasty. So these shoot 25, 30 feet, stand back, let it rip, and take care of them. And I forgot to mention, for small insects, if you do have pets or small children, they make a insecticide that is pet friendly and children friendly. It's called Zevo. I'll put the link in the descriptions below. I would show you, but I used it for our ant problem that we had here just a couple days ago, and I didn't think of making the video at the time, so I threw out the bottle. So the items I mentioned already deal with small pests such as insects, but if you get into a situation where you have a rat issue or a mouse issue, you have a raccoon, a snake in your house or your garage, then you're going to have to deal with them on a different level, right? So I'm not going to say which is right or wrong, but there's two ways that you can deal with it, right? You can do the humane route, and you can use box traps that you can buy, at Tractor Supply, online, where you can actually trap them and then relocate them, out in the woods somewhere. Or the other way would be to use mechanical rat traps, mice traps. You could even use a BB or a pellet gun to eradicate, small rodents, snakes, etc. Like I said, I'm not going to say which is right or wrong. That's up to you and your beliefs, but there are multiple ways to do it. Now, for even larger pests, I have a family member who goes to work and they regularly see coyotes. Now, if you live in a place where you might have coyotes or foxes, etc., coming up to your house, looking for shelter during a storm, you may want to go with something like this. I would recommend some pepper gel spray. There's pepper spray and there's pepper gel spray. The difference is pepper spray tends to mist out and cloud, and what happens is if the wind is blowing, especially during a storm or something, that is going to redirect that spray. It could come back at you. It could drift off and not hit the target. So I recommend pepper gel. It's a little thicker, comes out in a nice steady stream, so you can hit your target. No lasting harmful effects. It'll give them a bad day or two for sure, but that's one way to dissuade wild animals from entering your house, or to get them out of your house if need be. So hopefully this video's been helpful. Maybe it's highlighted something that you haven't thought about, that you can now take action on, because like I said, if you're not prepared for this stuff, it can be a nuisance for a couple of days. And if you're in a bad situation especially, and you have to deal with something like this, it's nice to be able to just go grab something off the shelf and handle it, versus scrambling like my mother did and had to sleep on the couch for a couple of days. So as always, if you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content, and please share it with people that you know and or love that may get some use out of it. I do have a couple other videos coming out. I just wanted to push this one out real quick, so hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.